Hello. Good morning. We have hijacked the live show today. Now we can finally fix all the errors on the podcast. Well, good morning. I think we're about a couple minutes early. Just want to say a big thank you to everybody that's been watching the channels. We've come back, the videos. Just want to say that we're Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. How is everyone enjoying the magicalness of the week between Christmas and New Year? I was reading or listening to something about how magical this week is because you're sort of still on vacation even if you're at work because you're like, we don't want to be here, right?
No.
So, so we've been enjoying ourselves, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've watched
have work off. I'm here.
I know.
So that's
You're
good.
here. And we have the mystical, magical Sophia back from Colorado with us. And we've been having a great time. Sent our aunt and uncle and cousin home the other day, and that was a little sad.
It was.
But
there was some feelings.
There was feelings.
Okay.
Sometimes you have to have the feelings.
Yeah.
You're like, we can't just tie you up and lock you in the closet? That's kidnapping.
That's a different scenario.
Sorry. That was a joke. Good morning, Miss Vivian. So we'll get started this morning. Everybody can catch up on the replay. We were just chatting for a few minutes, so if you're a Karen who doesn't want to listen to our bantering, just okay. So yesterday we hung out with our dad, and he wanted to talk to us about the young people of America, and so we had a great chat. So we wanted a few things Sophia and I thought about that we would continue the conversation on. About what we wish we had learned maybe when we were young and had been forced to learn. And,
a little bit.
And then hop into some positives.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. So, Soph, kick us off. What's something that you wish you would have learned or been forced to learn while you were at home?
How to cook.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, my dad's this gourmet chef person.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was a kid, I really wanted to get in there. But, you're around everybody's elbow. That's your height. So you kind of get knocked around a little bit. And it just wasn't, it would stress Dad out. So he's like, I'm making it, go! And I'm like, okay. So by the time I was a little a tween or young teenager, there was no desire for me to cook at all because they got it. And then for the past 6 months, I have lived off of Domino's and microwave meals because your girl can't cook worth nothing. So,
okay, you made pancakes.
I did, but I did. I can follow a recipe, but it's the getting to the kitchen, it's the... Is
it the confidence?
Yeah, I think it's... Every time I walk in the kitchen, it's I shouldn't be here.
What am I doing? What?
So, I'm just waiting for Dad to be like, get out my kitchen! So, anyway, that's one thing that I kind of wish I had a little bit. Because there's some of my friends are they get in there and they're they're making, and I'm like... No. Okay, just call me when it's done. I'll clean up.
Yeah. Thank you, Selena. The pancakes were awesome.
They were good.
I fried the bacon, so they made pancakes. We were a great team.
It's a good
combo. But yeah, it is cool. I kind of wish I would have. I just was no, and I think some of the same reasons. It just wasn't fun. It was never made fun to me. It never seemed like anybody was having fun.
Yeah,
when I was younger,
you kind of had to just.
And now I'm like, you know what? I think we should lock all of our children in the kitchen and be like, "You're not leaving till you can whip me something up," because it's a great skill. Yeah. We follow recipes well. Maybe we just need to get a recipe book and.
Yeah.
Now I live in a different country where nobody has a recipe book, and they're like, "Just chop this up and throw it in there," and I'm like. So I need to learn that. But okay, what's something else?
Yeah, probably taxes, because like, I mean, it's a little complicated. And, like, Mom's helped me a little bit, but just the whole process. I think Mom still is struggling with taxes, too. So it's just kind of like, we all hate taxes. Everybody taxes. Nobody knows really what they're doing in the IRS. It's funny. I saw this, like, TikTok the other day, and it was this, like, skit with this guy pretending to be the IRS, and then, like, an 18-year-old. He's like, hey, IRS, you know, I'm 18. I've never done this before. You know, could you help me out a little bit? No. Okay, well, how much do I need to pay? Well, we know how much you need to pay us, but you need to figure that out. And if you don't pay us what you owe us, then you get dinged with a fine. And you're over here like, the guy's like, and so I'm like, but that's so true. Like, I mean, I did babysitting kind of like under the table work for a few years before I was supposed to be working. And the IRS found out and digged me with like all these taxes. I'm like, I'm 15! I can't even drive! And y'all want how much? Yeah, so it was stuff like that. That just, it's frustrating. And I wish it was just kind of easier, but I think everybody does. That's not just a me thing.
Should I tell them the dirty secret I told you yesterday?
It was very frustrating.
So I need to know myself, but I had a little bit of an out because my aunt is an accountant. So I used to just say, here you go. She filed my taxes.
However,
I know. I need to actually, you know,
share your.
Well, I need to get better. I need to find a way to switch over to somebody else, and that's going to be something I have to work on, which is dealing, you know, other things. So, anyway, but not everybody has that, and I have a lot of friends who spend a lot of time and money on the taxes and like filing them themselves and come back 3 hours later, the taxes.
Here's tear stains, mascara.
The children leave the home. The mom's over there on the computer.
Yeah.
So, what else?
Yeah.
What about saving? I was never really taught how to save.
Like, I mean, Dad... Okay, so, here's the thing. Dad has always sat me down and it's kind of like, here's a budget. Here's what it looks like, the budget. Here's what... But, like, so he taught me, you know what I mean? But there was also, like, Mom and Dad both are kind of spenders. So... It was just kind of like, yes, we budget, but also we spend. And I just really took hold of the spending side of things.
The one part of the conversation you're like, spend!
So, and I think that's just a me thing. Like, that was not completely Mom and Dad, because they endeavored to teach me how to budget and everything. But your girl's a shopaholic, and I need shop therapy. When the day's a little rough, I'm going to get that t-shirt. So,
okay.
That's something but I think that's a personal thing. I don't think Mom and Dad had a hand in that. That's just a me thing.
Well, I just mean, like, even the habit of saving, like, where do you go? Like, what kind of account? Like, I think about when I went to get my job, like, do you want an IRA? Do you want this? Do you want that? And I'm like, what do you recommend?
Need to save.
Or talking to insurance companies and stuff. Those are things that, like, I feel like your parents would be like, all right, I have to make this really horrible call to the insurance company, and you're going to sit here and listen to it.
Yeah.
Because one day that's going to be you. It's not fun, but most of us, we have these horrible experiences.
Yeah.
Or not even horrible, just good, bad, and ugly, like alone.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, well, you'll figure it out.
I think it's really just mainly like the technical.
Yeah, the technical side.
Yeah, like, I mean, I went to the doctor the other day, and I don't necessarily have insurance, and I have to make a call or do something. I don't even still know what I'm really supposed to do.
Yeah.
There's something I have to do.
The first time you fill out your own paperwork at the doctor's office, you're like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Grandma. Whoever filled this out. Whoever filled it out for you. So, those are things I wish, some of those things should be taught in school, like budgeting and, like you said, we don't need unless you're going to be like, you know, the guy in, what's that movie, Good Will Hunting or something. You don't need high-level pre-calculus. You need basic skills.
Yeah. Just shoot me with, like, you know, Mom saw the mental trauma that algebra put me through, and I got about, like, halfway through the second book. She's like, you're done. It's okay. You made it, so you did it. We're fine. So, yeah. But, like, I really wish, instead of, but that's also just, like, that's not just our parents thing.
No, that's,
I
like,
think
everybody.
It's, like, all teens wish that they just were more prepared in those areas instead of just, like, fed a bunch of useless knowledge and then just assuming that we know how to do paperwork once we adults.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So these are things that you're going
do better, America.
This is it. We're fixing all of America's problems today. No, but for real, you want to say these are things that when we probably were salty. Be honest, we were probably salty.
A little bit.
Salty. I don't want to do that. I'll just order DoorDash. And then now you get to be grown and you're like, I really should. I should have. That you should be required. And as a parent, you can't get mad about your kid not loving to sit down and watch you balance the checkbook or wanting to listen to you make that call, or about how do you pick an insurance, but these are things that I want to teach my kids one day. I know it'll probably look different if I'm living on a different continent, but you know, things are things, and I need to know, like, here's how much money we spend, and here's what we do, and, like, those are just things that so that's what we wish we would have learned part one, and then briefly we didn't want to just end on, like, America's horrible, society should just basically become like the people in WALL-E. There's no hope.
And teens suck.
And teens suck. We love young people. We have a lot of young people in our family. And so we wanted to just talk for a minute about what are some things that we see that are good about the younger generation and how they're in the church, in the world. So, all right, Soph, you can start.
I'm a little...
You want me to
There's
start?
a little frog. I got this.
You got this. Push
but I think for teens, they're really good, especially Gen Z with, like, all the things. Mm-hmm. A lot of political stuff has been going on. Yeah. A lot of new terms have been introduced into our vocabulary. We survived the pandemic, more or less. You know, like, we went through some things. Yeah. And I feel like so many times, and this is with every generation, so, well, back in my day, I had to, insert horror story here. Yeah. You know what I mean? And a lot of people forget that, teens are people too. Yeah. And we go through our own stuff, and it's one thing that is, like, my biggest pet peeve is that when a young person is sharing something that was hard for them, that, granted, sometimes you just need to grow up a little, baby, okay? But sometimes it's genuinely, hey, this was hard for me, this was challenging, and, oh, well, what do you know, you're a kid, and you're like, no, I'm genuinely depressed, I'm genuinely... And you need help. You don't need a suck it up, buttercup. Like, what do you know? You're young anyway. And I feel like so many times, and then people wonder, well, why aren't you opening up to me? Well, why aren't you talking to me?
Every time I talk,
you're like, you devalue my feelings and all that stuff. So, like, I mean, yes, we have probably the most allergies out of any generation out there that's ever been. Yes, we have funky pronouns, and we grew up when social distancing was bougie, and we sometimes still wear masks. Gen Z is a lot. There's a lot going on. But what I think is we were resilient enough that we pivoted, and a lot of people didn't. And I feel like so many times that's very important for life and for... when big things happen, like pandemics, when big things happen, like, it's important to pivot, and it's important to just roll with the punches, and I feel like we did a pretty good job at that with some of our more...
Some people didn't get to graduate high school, college, everything was online. That's a big deal when you're young and you finish something and, you know, you don't get to have your dance, you don't get to see your friends, you finish all your schooling on. A lot of people, there was a lot of younger people who had to kind of process that, and then even to realize that the next year, everything opened back up and those people got to
do it.
have all of the things. But even just going back to the feelings, like, no, I personally don't like that, that people can take on their issues like pets, because that's not helpful for anybody.
No.
But on the other side, when I was young, you didn't talk about a lot of things. And the whole, like, you're just a kid, what do you know? That was still a thing. It's always a thing.
Yeah.
But I love that younger people are willing to share their feelings. They are willing to talk about, like, here's where I'm actually struggling and where I need help. And even I had this random thought today, you know, because, like, there's nothing nostalgic about, like, the brokenness of the past. Like, well, when I was a kid, you just dealt with it. Yeah, but you also probably hated your parents, and there's nothing nostalgic about the brokenness of how people used to not deal with their feelings and not be able to talk. And there's nothing to me that is worth going back in time about and being glorified. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's almost like, you know, sometimes, you know, and this is in, like, the workplace too. Like, I mean, when someone does something kind of unprofessional and I'm over here like, no. And they're like, oh, well, what do you know? You're 18. And I'm like, actually, I know a lot. Like, I mean, I've been working for 5 years.
Yeah.
I am 18, but I have been working for 5 years.
I might be 18, but I know when you're rude.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just like, or, you know, I was blessed to work at a call center for a little bit. And some of the callers, they're just like, they'll call in and they could hear I have a squeaky voice.
Yeah.
Well, you sound kind of young, don't you? I'm like, yes, sir. Let's pray. Well, no. I need a more anointed minister. And I'm over here like...
Well, then you should have gone to your local pastor and not be going...
What? You know, like, I mean, there's the same Holy Spirit is in me.
Yeah.
Then somebody else, well, I need a seasoned minister. I'm like, sir, what you don't know is I'm a pastor's kid. And I am a seasoned minister. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's just that, or sometimes they'll call in and they'll be like, well, you know, you sound kind of young. I know you haven't gone through this, so you're not going to be able to relate with me. Yeah. Therefore, you won't be able to pray with me. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't have to relate with you in order to know that you're being rude.
Yeah.
And that I can still help you.
You're rude. If you're rude calling a prayer line, does that, like...
I mean...
Does that cancel out your prayer?
Yeah, It should. No, I'm just kidding.
Sorry, that's a joke.
Just, take it the way you want it. But yeah, so just something that, you know, that I have noticed, you know, within, like, me as a young person trying... But if I did what everybody else said, you know, like, if I wasn't working, if I was kind of just sauntering through school, sauntering through life, well, you need to get your act together. Yeah. And you need to, you know, like, because I have friends who, you know, they're doing what everybody else has told them, and now they're getting made fun of for doing what everybody else has told them. So it's like, you can't win.
You're in an age where you're kind of in between, and I think our family talks about this. Yeah. Where people don't view you as an adult, but now you're being treated as an adult, and so it's kind of like this weird middle space when you're like 18 to 25. I'm 32, so I remember this, like, it's this weird middle space where, like, you're expected to make all of these decisions. You are personally held responsible for your decisions. You feel completely alone, completely unseen, completely just left, and you literally feel like the person that's, I'm drowning, help! I need a life vest. And then people are like, I figured it out.
With the life vest saying, suck it up.
Well, you should have taken this with you when you jumped in the water, shouldn't you?
You're like, what?
I didn't know I needed it. Yeah. So, I think we just want to point out we need to give people kudos, young people who are trying, and just trying. I'm not saying we can talk about all the millions of people who aren't, and that's a different conversation, but younger people need our support, and they really do want to do the things, but they want to know that, like, it's going to matter when they do them. And so just to validate them as younger people and to bring them into, like, adult life. Yeah. And then also, I mean, I'm going to say it, and you're going to laugh at me, and we'll probably have to land the plane on this one. Okay. But technology, they get it. Yeah. I mean, I had to sit here and talk to my parents about, why can't I get this thing to work? And I've tried to, and I'm 32. I'm supposed to be cool, I guess, about this. But no, but younger people we have, especially in the church, I really believe are going to take us to the next level of spreading just the good news and being able to use technology and teaching us how to, I don't want to say market, but just to be more present, to use what we have. And even this, to actually make good, not cheesy movies, good, not cheesy music that represents, like, what it means to follow Jesus. I really believe that it's coming. Yeah. It's already happening. We just don't look for it. Most of us are still making our peace with technology. But just, to me, like, I know that we all, and I'm the first one that's like, I want us to have real relationship. I need us to be person to person. Yeah. And yes, but I'm having to make buddies with, but you can do that and use technology. Yeah. And still have a phone and be on TikTok and enjoy your videos. And that's a slow process for me, but I think it's going to be necessary because whether we like it or not, the internet is not going anywhere. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, but.
Yeah, I think for me, as a young person who likes technology and wants to do things like make those movies, make those platforms, makes the, or whatever, it's been very challenging for me to just be like, no, like, I am right in liking these things. Because so many times, well, that technology stuff ain't for me, and you're wasting your time, and just be with me in person. And, like, we were watching the Mitchells versus the Machines the other day. Movie. Such a good movie. I think we actually referenced it in the other live too. So, but it is a very good movie. And the dad is like, cannot do technology to save his life. And the daughter is like really tech savvy, has all of these, like, is going to film school, like wants to make big things happen in the technology world. And he was feeling like, well, you're not connecting with me. You're not with me. You're ignoring me. She's like, no, Dad, this is how. He's like, you could process the world so much better without your phone. She's like, no, Dad, this is how I process the world. And this is how I share it. This is my perspective. Yeah. And I feel like that is so true for so many kids. That is how they process the world. That is their perspective. And yes, there should be some times where you just go put your feet in the grass and, clock out of everything for an hour, But at the same time, I feel like so many adults make younger teens, younger people feel like what they're doing and the moves that they're making with technology, they're making them feel bad for it. They're making them feel immature for it, and they're making them feel guilty for sharing the world in a way that in a few years will be the main source of anything. Yeah,
it's already heading that way.
Yeah.
So, I think we're going to have to land the plane. I have no idea what time it is. I need to get a watch because my watch battery is dead and this is my phone. So, but thank you so much for being with us, Soph. Thank you so much for being with us, you guys. Yeah. I'll have to do this again. Yeah. You can Audra discovers technology moment. Okay. Do you know that we can Zoom, like we can add you to the to the Facebook Live?
Okay. Yeah, Mom did that one time.
Did you know that?
I think so.
Okay. I do something cool. I'm cool. I'm basically a hipster.
Basically.
So, have a great day, everybody. Go to thehollimans.com and you can see our Christmas specials on the different books and webinars that we have available. If you have a little extra spending money and you want to work on your family this year, there's some really cool resources. Like and subscribe to our channel. We put these on YouTube. You can like and subscribe there. And do all the things. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, ring, ring, and then you'll get our notifications when we come on. Any final parting words first, Soph?
It was just good to chat and yak with y'all.
Happy Friday, and we'll see you back here on Tuesday. Bye.